Growing food at home is really easy, like we already know. But in today's video, I'm going to show you a very unique way of growing plants at home. In a test tube.
Eco episode. Eco episode.
You might be thinking, how can a plant grow in there without any soil? Well, it's really interesting and I'm going to show you how. So let's get started. Here I have some seeds which will make garden peas, and they are really healthy. Unless you have mushy peas with fish and chips, and then they're not very healthy. Anyway, because these are going into a test tube, they need to be really clean. So here I've got some antibacterial soap, just like what you'd use on your hands. And I'm going to add some water to it. And then we're going to drop the seed for the garden pea inside. And it's a bit like how we wash our hands, except with the seed, I'm going to shake it for 3 minutes. Has it been 3 minutes yet? Right, okay, let's carry on then. Now here we have our really clean seed after it's been in all that soap. But now we need to give it a rinse in just some plain water, which I've got here. I'm going to use these fancy tweezers to pick up my seed and drop it into the water. Now we're going to give it a shake in the water, but this time just for 1 minute. Perfect. Now we have a nice clean seed which has just had a bath and smells lovely and fresh. Right, now we need to choose a coloured test tube. Now I do really like the blue, I really like the green. I'm going to go for that No, I do like the yellow, definitely. Right, I'm going to go for the yellow. I don't know. The chosen test tube is the yellow test tube. Okay, so we've chosen our test tube, and now I'm going to get my really clean seed with my fancy tweezers again, and I'm going to put it onto the gel. But don't push it down, I'm just going to rest it on top of the gel in the test tube. And now I'm going to screw the lid onto my test tube, but not really tight, just nice and loose like this, so that air can go in and out of the test tube, because that will help it to grow. Put the test tube in a warm place, like on a windowsill, and leave it to grow. So it's been a few days, and here is my garden pea plant now. Look how tall and strong it is, and there in the middle is the original seed that we planted together. And I've also got a few other types of plants that are growing right here. These two are called mung beans, which are a lot taller. These four are another type of garden peas, like we've already planted over here. Here is a French bean, and last of all is some beetroot, which has still got a bit more to grow. The best part about these test tubes is that you can see the roots of the plants. Usually they are underground in the soil, like in this plant here, and we don't usually get to see the roots, but in the test tubes we can see them really clearly. The roots look like white pieces of string, and roots do 3 major things. They suck up water from the ground for the plant to make energy, they absorb nutrients, and they help the plant to stay strong in the ground. Now, I can keep the plants in these test tubes if I want, and all I need to do is give them a little water every few days, and the fancy gel will keep the roots growing even more. Remember, plants need water, they need oxygen, which is in the air, and they need sunlight from the sun. And that's why growing the plants on a windowsill is best.
Quick science.
Plants make their own food. They need water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide, which is in the air as well. They use this to create sugar. They then use the sugar as energy to grow. This is called photosynthesis. That's a big word. They also need oxygen to breathe, just like humans do.
That was quick science.
Wow, that was really quick. Right. Like I mentioned earlier, you can now leave your plant in the test tube and just keep watering it every few days. But I'm going to show you how you can plant it in a pot. And I've got a pot here. You can use anything though. You could cut a water bottle in half or use an old yogurt pot. And we're going to put some soil or some compost into the pot. And then we're going to make a hole in the compost ready to put our plant in. Right, now the fun part. We're going to pull our plant and the gel out of the test tube. Here we go. Nice and gently. You can use the tweezers as well to help you at this point. And there we are. Now if we look nice and closely here, you can see all of our roots here as well. Now the gel is biodegradable. That's another big word. All that means is the gel will rot and disappear into the soil. And that means we can plant the gel with the rest of the plant into our compost. Now I want to push the compost around my plant, nice and strong, to support the plant and help it to grow. And there we are. All you need to do is give it a water every few days and keep it somewhere warm. But hold on a minute, there's still some waste left after the experiment. The test tube, what are we going to do with this? I've already thought about that and I've got an idea. I'm going to use my test tube, get some garden string and tie it around it like this. And then I'm going to put it outside in my garden or anywhere to collect rain. And I can see with the scale on the side how much rainwater has been collected. We can reuse it and now we don't have to throw it away. So there you have it, some really strong garden pea plants which have grown in a test tube. Incredible. And when we're back in school, you might be able to grow some of these of your own. I hope you've enjoyed this
Eco episode.
and I'll see you soon.
Eco episode.